titled Overcoming Barriers to Effective Implementation of Global Citizenship Education. It is my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Amani Jarrar, Associate Professor at Philadelphia University, Jordan. I'm delighted to welcome Vlad Glavenu, who's Associate Professor at Webster University in Switzerland, and Dr. Russell Carpenter, Assistant Provost at Eastern Kentucky University, United States. My name is Aryan Salman, and I will be the moderator for this panel discussion today. And it is such a wonderful experience to have all of you in the audience and have our guests here today. So I request Dr. Jarrar to make her observations on the statement, on the statement that we are discussing today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Aryan. Thank you, Russell and Vlad, and all who are with us today. This is a very good opportunity for me to join you on this very important topic. Actually, I would like to talk about the barriers that we face in general in the world and in certain local places, let's say in Jordan. We want to talk about barriers to effective implementation of global citizenship education. If you go back in response to the challenges of today's globalized and interconnected world, we all know that we have problems concerning inequality, human rights violations, poverty, and we still have also many problems facing peace issues and environmental sustainability and global citizenship education. We think that global citizenship education is the means to prepare youth for an alternative and inclusive sustainable world. And how we do this, it's by learning to embrace and uphold human rights. Sometimes, and this is very important, sometimes we have to learn how to embrace human rights. Sometimes we have previous knowledge or previous values maybe and attitudes we have to unlearn. Now, indeed, efforts to move along a sustainable development path may only be achieved by promoting global social justice. And therefore, I think that educational institutions have a fundamental role to play in empowering learners to become responsible and more active as global citizens. Now, going back to UNESCO and the role of UNESCO, despite of its recent attempts to make the concept both universally and locally rooted, now the voices of all stakeholders around the world are not taken yet into account equally in the debate of GCE, global citizenship education. So I think that, as pointed out in several international forums and seminars on GCE, the difficulty resides in the lack of a shared international understanding of the concept. And when we go back to global, sustainable development goals, and particularly we mention the target, which is focusing on education, and 4.7, which is education for sustainable development and global citizenship. The United Nations SDGs, they work on promoting global citizenship education as a vehicle. We should always remember that it is a vehicle to develop skills and values and attitudes of the learners, so that they may work towards the resolution of the interconnected challenges facing the world today. And here I focus on three words: skills, values, and attitudes. In some regions, they work on knowledge rather than skills and values and attitudes. And maybe attitudes is the major item here.
Okay.
So we lost it for a second.
Oh, okay. Now, global citizenship recognizes a shared humanity, and we here say that if we have to be defining, or we focus on global citizenship in three main elements. First, the sense of acting for peace and justice, And then second, the pluralism to be open and diverse in perspectives of common humanity, and knowledge and action for global problems. And this can be achieved from moving us from being a member of a human race, that is the vague meaning of global citizenship, and so as to move forward to be more responsible for conditions of the planet and individuals that are subject to moral law, and promoting also the world government. Here I would like to think of three major conceptual dimensions: the cognitive and the social and behavior. Now, the cognitive part is the part that we have to work more on understanding, critical thinking, global issues. The social emotional part works on solidarity and empathy and diversity and respect, while the behavioral focuses more on the act of sharing responsibility to local and national and global levels for a sustainable world. And of course, I would like here to end this discussion or this my saying here by saying that the barriers, they may be partial if we move to less if we work on understanding of GCE, that would lead to less effective response. But while if we work on total understanding of GCE, that would be more effective response. And of course, the problems that we face in all over the world, it's the contradictory values in educational practices, and this needs to be customized through the learners and the educators. I can end here and stop here and wait for a discussion if you have any question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jarrar. Vlad, if you may please, you'll take the floor.
Of course, thank you so much for this lovely introduction. I have just a few points to add. So my background is in social psychology and in creativity research, which sounds maybe both connected and perhaps disconnected from the topic of today.